Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be here with me today. Walter here at the workbench, all cluttered, all sorts of things on it. So, for the Hemlock plane build, I have finished the glue up on all four of the first side, all of which have the 45-degree bed angle. They're all bedded the same. One has no wear bevel. One has a 90-degree wear bevel. One has a backward leaning wear bevel. And this one, which is still in the clamps because I wanted to show you how I clamp them, has the forward leaning wear bevel. So I really like to use the hand screws. They are basically the earliest form of a parallel clamp. And since I don't have any parallel clamps, this is what I like to use. So if you do it right, let me show you, see if I can actually show you. If you do it right, I can't show you. Basically, you open it up and they're not parallel. Then as you close them, you can get them to be parallel by adjusting either screw. And it puts nice, even pressure on the sides. And since it has good width, it spreads the clamping pressure out. So that's what I use to clamp them up. Now, the process from whence they come out of the clamps, and I'll show you what I did. One, two. The first thing I like to do is to get the any excess glue off. And I can use just a simple scraper of some sort. I don't care what type of scraper you use, but some sort of scraper to get the excess glue off. Okay? Both sides. Now this side has quite a bit. What I might do here is get a piece of wood from my trimmings and come in here first and get that wet glue off of there. I only glued these up earlier today. All right, we get rid of that. Now I can come in with my card scraper and scrape the excess glue off. Next up is flattening. And just to demonstrate that you can do this without using hand planes, where's my pencil? There it is. You make a few pencil marks in the key areas and you just rub it across some sandpaper. And you'll see, it'll flatten it. But before I do the final flattening, I just want to take any high spots off. What I will do is lay out the final length. So from the center of the mouth, it's 2 inches forward and 4 inches back. So 2 inches forward and 4 inches back. Now, I learned a valuable lesson on the first two, that if you don't score the wood, you will get blowout. It just tears it apart. We're okay on the bottom because the cut went in this way, but it blew out the tops. So I learned a valuable lesson that you score your wood before your cuts. Don't believe you'll be able to see it, but there's a score line in front of each cut. You might be able to see it. On that one, I don't know. And then when I make this cut, I stay just forward of the score line. And I'm using my wonky knife because I don't have the right blades anymore. Broke the only one I had. You start with a light scoring cut, then a little bit heavier, and a third, and then you notch the corner. Rotate 90 degrees and rinse and repeat. And I'll do that all the way around both ends, and then I'll go to my miter saw. Okay, I have a Makita LS 1040, very plain, simple 10-inch. That's an old one. It's been around a while. And I have found that to be much better than working on the table saw. If I plan my cuts out just right, there's no danger. Now, the other thing that you have to do, and not everyone has it, but there might be a little bit of glue squeeze out. So you might have a little bit of glue squeeze out right in the corner there. All you do is take a chisel lightly in each direction, and those will pop right off. So now I'll finish trimming this one up. This one needs to get sanded, and then after it's sanded, what I do is I chamfer all the corners. So once the sole is done, I will raise it up 45 degrees, and I'll take 3 passes on every corner. And what that'll give me is just a really simple chamfer on all the corners. And then on the top, where my hand will be, I will not only do the chamfer, but then I'll do the chamfer on the top edge, and then I will round the corner. See? I will round the corner so that it's not going to be sharp against my hand. So that's a short one for today. Next challenge, because these 4 are done. The next challenge is to put a cross pin in, and I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet. Probably I will go out in my hardware store. I got boxes and boxes of hardware, and see if I have a really large nail. So I'll need 4 of them. Technically, I'll need 7, but I could reuse these. And then I will drill a hole, insert that nail, trim it to length, and make a wedge, and we'll be ready for testing. So stay tuned. I hope you're finding this build interesting. I really enjoy the comments, and I do know that some of the results are probably going to be inconclusive. However, I thought this would be a fun project to go through with everybody, and who knows? There may be a surprise, there may not. I don't know. I'm having fun. Like, subscribe, and share. Come back. Walter out.